Hi folks, welcome to your mwis Friday Planner in association with Ellis Brigham. A big weather day across Britain today for various reasons and hazards out there. Looking at a better story for Saturday though, particularly for the Scottish Highlands, with a lull in the conditions. England and Wales not looking quite as good though as the next frontal system comes through. Generally staying an unsettled story. Sunday goes into another very windy spell with severe upland gales. The week ahead stays very changeable. Scottish mountains staying generally frozen with only rare periods of thaw towards higher levels. A bit more freeze and thaw for England and Wales though. Let's start with those temperatures, and this is the freezing level chart, and we'll take you onwards over a few days, starting on Saturday morning. Much terrain frozen to lowest levels in Scotland with extensive lying snow following the snowfalls during Friday. The most significant amount focused on more central and eastern parts of the Highlands. Terrain frozen too across the tops in England and Wales. Some icy conditions where there's been a mix of snow, rain and hail during Friday. As we go through the day, the freezing level will lift temporarily, maybe even above 800 metres across parts of Wales. At the far north, that may just stay that bit lower, so the scope for some snow being around here. And that chilly air is in place as we head into the evening time. Temporarily, a frost and ice to low levels, but then we see a warm front coming in from the west overnight. And as we head towards dawn on Sunday, temperatures on most mountains will be lifting towards or above freezing point by several degrees across England and Wales as a warm sector comes through, but a sharp cold front follows and a rapid drop of freezing level and temperature through Sunday afternoon puts the mountains sub-zero again above around 400 to 600 metres. That cold air will stay around overnight into Monday. A bit of a lift during the daytime. We're going to be up towards around 700 or 800 metres, perhaps just a touch higher around western Scotland. But most higher mountain terrain then is staying frozen, and where there's lying snow, that will still very much stay around. To take things on a day or so into midweek, another brief period of thaw comes through around Monday night into early Tuesday. Another cold front comes down from the northwest, and temperatures will lower once more during the day on Tuesday. And it looks as though generally sub-zero conditions stay on the mountains in the middle part of the week. A bit of a lift again across England and Wales. Colder air looks as though it tries to come back in more extensively in the later part of the week. So much terrain, frozen, icy, with snow accumulating and lying across many of the mountains. That sets the scene for a wintry spell ahead. Here's the chart for Saturday, and we have a small frontal system coming in across Ireland towards England and Wales, and that producing a zone of poor weather with gales or severe gales across the hills, particularly the Welsh mountains, and blustery for a time at least, probably around the Pennines. A zone of snowfall is quite probable to low elevations on the northern side of that front. There is a degree of uncertainty just how far north and south that feature will go. Typically rain for a spell at least across the Midlands and Wales, but across the Welsh mountains that may well go back to snow as well as that cold front comes through. For Scotland, away from all of that, just a few showers and flurries around and a good amount of dry and bright weather, and with hardly an isobar there, it's a lull in the wind. Here's the modelled precipitation then through Saturday afternoon, and there's that awkward mix of rain and snow across Wales, and possibly even some snow developing across the Peak District too. That's one to watch in this part of the world. One or two snow showers will be around, drifting into western Scotland. Those could locally become frequent around some coast, but very little of those getting too far eastwards. A few flurries for the central Highlands probably. By the end of the day, as a bit of a front just tries to come in around the western side of Scotland, that may just turn a bit more organised. Now further, more active fronts then do spread in as we go into the evening and the night, and that all turns increasingly wet then for a spell, preceded by snow across the Highlands in the cold air, but that temperature will lift as we've shown, and for a time at least some rain will fall overnight into the early part of Sunday up to higher levels in Scotland, only temporarily though I suspect on the very highest top, so it won't do a great deal to harm the general snowpack high up, but it may lead to quite a thaw on more lower terrain. Heavy rain for England and Wales, and as a cold front goes through during Sunday morning into the afternoon for Wales, an intense band of rain will come through with that. Showers follow with snow and hail to increasingly low levels for Scotland, those rattling in on that westerly flow to the West Highlands. Fewer showers further to the east, and showers of snow and hail later in the day will start to turn up across the hills in northern England and for Wales later on too. A generally windier day once more, then gales or severe gales across the mountains, some very stormy, violent gusts possibly around that cold front as it comes southwards with that big contrast of temperature across it, and staying with gales or stormy winds across the mountains heading into the evening time. That's all blown through by Monday, and we stay with a rather blustery day, and the wind flow is a west by northwesterly. The threat of gales at least part of the day for England and Wales, maybe decreasing speeds for Scotland, especially in the west. Now, the leftover of a previous front will still be producing some areas of showers, maybe something a bit more organised for a spell across the Pennines, and some showers coming in frequently to Wales too. These a mix of rain, snow and some hail thrown in at times, and some snow showers coming down into northern Scotland, but some brighter spells around here as well, with some cloud breaks and some sunshine. Temperatures then staying at sub-zero across the tops. For Tuesday, there's that next warm sector passing through, another frontal system coming in from the Atlantic, gale force winds likely over the mountains, a spell of rain and snow turning back to snow and hail showers once that front goes through. It looks as though it stays windy into Wednesday. Higher pressure exists toward the south, and this is one thing we were looking at last week in the Friday planner, that a tendency for higher pressure to try and get in further south would develop during the week ahead. It's still, though, some frontal systems coming through towards the north, so still frequent precipitation and strong winds for a good part of northern Britain. The wettest conditions, the snowiest conditions on the mountains focused on west and northwest Scotland. Temperatures, again, likely to come down a bit as the day goes on for the Highlands. We're never quite yet getting that high pressure to build in across the country properly, it seems. The jet stream is still strong. There's weather systems coming through across northern parts of Scotland, and that will continue really later in the week. The colder air will be around for a time, maybe a lift of temperature again towards that next weekend, and the next ridge of high pressure has a go. So across England and Wales, nowhere near as stormy as we've seen recently, with some more sustained drier weather, but we're not generally settling down as a whole because the Atlantic westerly or southwesterly flow is still looking pretty strong even towards next weekend, and the potential there, on that model chart at least, for another quite powerful low to move close to northwest Scotland. So not really out of the woods yet, a few better days in there, but still a generally unsettled tale. Some winter conditions, though, to be found across the mountain tops. Make the most of Saturday, then, across the Highlands. That is your Friday planner in association with Ellis Brigham. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.